What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the No World Podcast IG Live Edition. We are back. It is June 2nd, 2020, and right now we are waiting on Zach to pop on in, and here he is. So let's get that linked up, and we will have a nice little discussion about everything going on. And there he is.
Make sure we're centered. Yeah, that works.
Cool. Nice. So what have you been doing today?
Went to the grocery store. It's fun as always.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Have you been keeping your eye on anything lately, or just?
I mean, as much as I can. It seemed like the 31st was kind of like the big kind of news catching everyone, hashtagging kind of a day. I haven't seen a whole lot of new shit. Seen a lot of the same stuff. People seeing inconsistencies and people seeing weird shit during the protests. And I think there was like one new thing I saw today. Oh, yeah, it was like, it looked like police were telling somebody where to spray paint on a building. That's what it looked like. That was the only new thing I saw, but again, it falls in with that whole misdirection, whatever the hell's going on with the protests. So, Not really new info.
Yeah. I haven't really been paying too much the last couple of days. I've just been dealing with some computer stuff, and it's been really frustrating. So, just dealing with all of that, and it's really taken me out for the last couple of days. But I keep my eye on it a little bit here and there. I just think our news here sucks at broadcasting it, man. I mean, everything I'm seeing online, there has been like a bunch of different protests throughout the county, but the only ones that's really getting any coverage is the one downtown. And yeah, I don't really know why that is, because I'll throw on YouTube News and there's like a bunch of different broadcasts across the country, and like mainly I've been watching stuff go down in LA, and they've been pretty good about having their feed going. But it's just really interesting how they're not really covering it very much here in San Diego. I have to rely on like live Facebook feeds or Instagram live feeds or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I did hear a lot. I saw a few different posts of people of the cops in riot gear or whatever targeting media, like people holding up their media passes, like, "Hey, I'm media. I'm not fucking looting, whatever," and they boom, still spray them right in the face.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they're trying to send a message to the media to not cover that side of it. And I've noticed that the police are doing things and then getting the story out first, because if you get the story out fast and first, then you control that narrative. So I saw a video of cops busting up their own windshields, taking pictures of it, and then they post it first, and they say, "Look what the rioters have done."
Yep.
But they're the ones doing it. So I think they're trying to control that narrative even more on a micro level than we know, or than they'll admit.
Yeah, I mean, it's really it's really hard to know exactly what's going on, because I was watching one of the guy's feeds from the other night, and he was kind of straggling around the back and just filming it all and everything, but there was like 3 white people that he passed by or was coming up on, and I was like, those guys like stand out. And they were dressed in like all black, had the black bandana covering their face and all that. And then right as the majority of the like peaceful people walk by, they started smashing shit behind them, you know. One of the guys got like tackled and taken care of a little bit, because like that's not what the majority of the protesters were about, you know. Any violence and like destruction, they were really trying to keep it in check. But it's just interesting that watching this live feed, you can see who stands out. You can see who's going to be trouble, and it usually isn't, the black people. It's usually the, punk rock looking kids who want anarchy and chaos and all that and fighting for a wrong reason and message. And it's really putting a bad name on the legitimate people wanting change.
Yeah, and I still think a lot of these people are funded and sent out there to do a job. I think the ones that stand out that are doing that shit are paid to be there. I think they've, just like everything else, it's the same fucking. There's like 10 plays that the world fucking governing people do. Right? There's like 10 plays out of their playbook, and this is another one. Pay someone to infiltrate and destroy it, discredit it, make it look bad. You know. And looking at some of the people that are doing those things, like you were saying, the people that go busting up windows, they stand out.
Yeah.
They're not there to talk about inequity or injustice. They're just there to destroy. I saw kind of a cool video of a bunch of protesters grabbing some Antifa-looking dude because he was trying to start blowing shit up or throwing bricks or something. And they grabbed him, they wrestled him down, and then they went and they like threw him at the feet of the cops, and the cops arrested him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. So the cops were minding their own fucking business. The protesters were peacefully protesting. This motherfucker stepped out, and the protesters gave him to the cops. And the cops arrested him. Yeah. Let's do that shit, dude.
Exactly.
Let's make that stuff happen.
Exactly.
Identify the problem and get him out of there. You know what I mean? That's ideally what would happen. But I'm also hearing from police saying police don't know how to deal with protests, so they incite and they escalate the situation because they know how to deal with having to handcuff somebody or having to take somebody down.
So get this. I find it really interesting because, like I said, I've been watching a lot of the stuff go down in LA because that's basically all that I have access to live stream because our news here sucks. But they would be having the helicopter footage, and they would show the peaceful protest happening, and they would, be sure to say these are the peaceful people, and there was a good group of them, probably like a good few hundred or so, and then just they had a bunch of cops having their line lined up, and they kept calling for more, but then they would go a block away, and people are destroying property, looting, and all that kind of stuff, and no cops are doing anything about it. I find it really interesting. Is like, why would they feel they need to stand there with that many for the peaceful people when it's like they've been proven that that's what they want. They're not there to cause violence and the destruction. Those people are the ones taking advantage of the stores and stuff, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, and obviously all those foot soldiers are taking orders from above. So someone above them is telling them to stay put with the peaceful people and let all the other shit go down.
Yeah.
That falls into the false flag play, kind of, right? I mean, like they know about it, they're letting it happen so they can turn around and use it for political gain or narrative. Yeah. It's disturbing how much I'm seeing of that on film. Like I saw somebody recording it looked like they were recording from a rooftop. And it looked like cops with a truck with bricks.
Yeah,
and they were too. Some bricks.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's very interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah.
And there's been a bunch of that. And then there was another one that I think I saw yesterday where, there was a pallet of bricks being dropped off, and who was guarding it and who let them in and let them drop it off. There was a police squad car just letting it happen, So, yeah, that's really interesting. I did want to go back to that thing about people being paid because I don't know if this guy was being paid, but I was watching that live stream from the other night, and this guy, he just ran into real quick. He's like, oh, because he got on a scooter and he saw another guy on the scooter. He's like, oh, scooter gang, what's up, And then he just went up and like asked him, oh, what are you doing out here? And then he's like, oh, I'm a gangbanger from Memphis. I flew out here just for this. Yeah, so it's like right there, It's like, I don't know if he's paid to be here, but it's like, that's very suspicious,
Man, yeah, that's not cool. And even I think we covered. I know we covered a few things on our Thursday pod that we'll probably revisit. But even the mayor was saying all the arrests coming out of Minnesota were people that weren't from the area.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
you see the buses and the backgrounds of some of these pictures of these people being bussed in. We see the ads on Craigslist and things like that for actors, for riot actors, for whatever. There was some older lady in a wheelchair that allegedly was like being terrorized by some of these protesters, and then there's a picture of her hanging out with them. So yeah, it's wagging the dog.
So
And like,
that's really interesting. Are you talking about that one who got like sprayed and like really beat up from the Target or whatever?
I don't know where it was. I just remember the picture was like kind of a bigger white lady with blonde, sandy
Yeah.
blonde hair, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I saw that too. I didn't see the alternative footage with them kind of hanging out, but that did lead me to this actually. Good point. You remember the supposed cop who was doing the AutoZone thing and who had
yes.
that confrontation with the pizza box guy or whatever?
Jacob Pedersen, yes.
Yeah, so there was again alternative footage, or not alternative, just different footage from throughout the day. Those two are all buddy buddy talking together. So
Yeah.
it's like, what is that?
We're being played, man.
Yeah,
All of us are being played on multiple levels, and as important as it is to to support our brothers and our sisters in their fight, so they can support us and we can unite. It's also important to show everybody this is the fucking play from their playbook. This
yeah,
is the consistency. These are the fucking holes, so everyone can see what we see and further bring us together.
yeah,
I think. I mean, I'm idealistic, but that would be nice.
yeah. um, it's it's really strange because there is now such this weird kind of division going on where people do kind of see what's going on and are like, no, let's do this peacefully because obviously there is a problem in this country with the systematic oppression and stuff like that. And there are people who really want the change, and but then there's the other people who just want destruction and chaos, and I can't agree with that, man. I just can't.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, if I'm being quite honest, there is part of me that like really, really likes it. Like, I would re-target some of that burning stuff down to cameras on light poles, cell towers, government buildings, and shit like that. But that's me. That's my issue. I
See,
watch too much. I have a little bit of that agent of chaos in me, but I think it's because I've watched so much fucking TV and movies growing up that they instill that in people.
yeah.
That's an option.
I mean, I wouldn't, I'd be a little less critical if they did start targeting more of these government buildings and things like that.
Right.
But they're not even giving them the opportunity. It's like they box them into their own communities and then, the people come and destroy it. So they don't even really have an opportunity to do that. And that is just, I don't know how you would find that opportunity, but like I said, I would understand it more doing that. But targeting your own community, destroying your own businesses, I find it just really sad, man. Like
Bullshit.
I the destruction and all that, it's like, yeah, it's, forms of a revolution and things like that. It can be exciting, but it's like it's not for the right reasons, if it was for the right reasons, then I would understand, but it's like it's just trying to cause chaos, and that's not a fun feeling. It's like I it is getting closer, It was just downtown for here, and now I'm hearing it's, creeping up here to San Marcos and stuff, and who knows what that happens, and we're hearing everything that they want to start spilling into, neighborhoods and residential and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's cool to kind of is cool to kind of idolize from, just watching it on your TV, but once it starts hitting your neighborhood, I think people start to change their tune a little bit.
Yeah, I had posted. I don't think anybody local would be dumb enough to tie in that shit because everybody here knows everybody's military or retired military
Yeah.
or family members in the like I would venture to guess most people in this area, as opposed to some other areas, liberal areas of California, know how to use a weapon and probably have weapons in their homes. Come on, you're gonna go fuck around with a bunch of retired military that know how to do this shit for a fucking living and are
Yeah.
trained to like not have any fear. And I hope they don't. It would be bad for them, to be
Yeah.
quite honest.
I mean, I've been
But yeah,
seeing. I said I've been seeing like places like Santee and was it El Cajon? I don't know. There was a couple places where people were just armed with AR-15s and stuff, protecting their businesses up there. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah, dude, and like I'm seeing shop owners getting pulled from their shops and beaten to death.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And like those videos that I've seen, they weren't of what I would suspect is like Antifa looking paid to be there from out of town people. It looked like local people, and I think that's a overgeneralization and judgment, but it looked bad. It looked like a vendetta, maybe even something personal from before. Who knows?
yeah,
But yeah, I know. I don't. Obviously, I mean, not obviously, I don't agree with all that shit, and I have read the tweets or alleged tweets or whatever talking about Antifa coming into neighborhoods. I read one that said they were gonna start like raping women and killing kids in Phoenix. Yeah, and I'm like, there's no way that's got to be bullshit.
yeah,
But it was like allegedly leaked from somebody who had 3 members of her family in the police force in Arizona. So she's reaching out like, hey, I don't know if it's real or not, but this is what my family members are telling me. So then I reach out to people in Arizona I know, like, hey, I don't know if it's real, but just so you know, like, be cool. You know what I mean? Like, be safe, be aware, be alert, because who the fuck knows, dude? Who knows what's planned next? I think this is right now we're seeing a game being played out with like the handful of groups that run the world, and it's like they're just throwing cards on the table. Fucking coronavirus, kill somebody as a police officer, riots, division of riot. Like they're just throwing it. Bluebeam's gonna come next.
So what do you that kind of brings it to a bigger question then, I guess. What do you think is really happening? Do you think there's really a division? Do you think it's still all a show? What is your kind of overall picture on everything going down? Because I mean, right now today, wasn't Hillary Clinton supposed to be in court? I mean, I doubt she even was. I mean, I doubt anything is even gonna come of that, but it was just kind of interesting that it's kind of happening during this time. But yeah, what's because that just means that, in my opinion, like that shows that there is a true kind of battle kind of going on because, all of these, there's just so many moving factors going on that it seems more real than what I used to think it was. But yeah, I mean, I just want to ask you what you think is really happening.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Hillary Clinton thing because yeah, she's supposed to be in court today. She doesn't want to talk about those emails, that everyone associates with her, and some people don't even know. So she's trying to get out of it. And actually, a woke army here on Instagram said something interesting. Everyone's posting like the black picture on Instagram to show unity and things like that. And he posted a picture of the black cube of Saturn. And he just kind of drew an interesting parallel. Like here, Hillary is supposed to be spilling the beans, and if you know anything about like what they refer to as a Horcrux in Harry Potter or things like that, and even just charging a sigil, like that could be a way that they're charging that black cube of Saturn. Like everyone posting a black square, I'm not sure. That's an interesting offshoot. But what I think is happening is what we had said for the last month or two going to happen. We're going to come out of coronavirus right into something else. And this is that something else, I think, because I think within the last week, the World Health Organization had said you only need to really wear a mask if you're caring for somebody with an illness, right?
Yeah.
And recently on this, we think recently on the CDC website, they said coronavirus doesn't really spread on surfaces, not to really worry about it. And when they were asked, hey, when did that change? When did you guys post that? They didn't respond. So now they're trying to backtrack and change shit up.
So another thing too, it's all coming out too around this time when there's this mass distraction going on that the World Health Organization was lied to from China, at least a week's worth in advance or whatever. So yeah, it's just really interesting that all of this stuff is kind of being announced, but it's kind of not being talked about on a mainstream mass appeal like it was because of all of this stuff that happened. And yeah, so yeah, get back to what your overall thoughts are. Sorry.
And that and the Chinese Communist Party manipulating the WHO lends credit to what Tripoli and Edge of Wonder have been saying, that it's basically the WHO is basically does the bidding of the Chinese Communist Party. Yeah. That's interesting. But yeah, I think we're coming out of Corona into this next. I think this is phase 2. You know, they kept saying the second wave, phase 2, and all that. I think this is the next step for them. I think it was planned. I don't trust that video of George Floyd. I'm not saying he didn't die, but the video seems sketchy.
I did want to kind of clear this up because I looked it up. Initially, I believe you said the video took place or he died on 33rd Street, and I do just want to clear it up. It's 38th Street, but the first riots that started were on 33rd Street.
There's a good parallel. Yeah, and I looked up, side note as well, I guess. I looked it up, and I guess police cars do have license plates that just say police in Minnesota. Like over here, we're all used to California exempt, but I guess they do have those. But those two cops are still allegedly from the same unit. They're wearing different badges. Yeah. Allegedly, the killer and the victim worked together for up to 17 years at a nightclub. There is a gas station in the background, and it says the price of diesel is 99 cents. And that sure as shit ain't true. I looked it up about a week after the incident, and it was like at $2.79, so almost 3 times the price. And if you look back on, Eric Gardner, that fellow over, I think in New York, who was, I believe, selling cigarettes, then he got choked to death by a cop.
Yes.
That cop was wearing a shirt with
99. Yeah.
So there's still a lot of questions.
Ooh, that is very interesting. I did just see something breaking all of that down, but I didn't make all of that connection because I didn't understand what was saying about the 99-cent thing in the back of the George Floyd thing, and then but I did see the cop with the 99 in the Eric Gardner case or whatever, and yeah, that's interesting that you brought it kind of full circle for me.
Yeah, and looking back at some of the stuff that's happened over the last few years, it seems like you could argue that it was leading up to this. I always say, like, they try to plant stuff in your subconscious, so when they're ready, they just fucking pull the cord, they yank on it, and it brings you to it. They're planting those all-seeing eyes in TV, and when they're ready, they're going to do something like with the all-seeing eye, and people are just going to follow because it's in their subconscious. So now with this George Floyd incident, we're seeing I Can't Breathe being revisited from Eric Garner. We're seeing the 99s and the 6s being revisited. We're seeing the kneeling that, what's his name? Kaepernick was doing. Like, that's true. That was the move. Allegedly over in France, not too long ago, within the last week, there was a French police officer who killed a black guy by kneeling on his neck as well. Yeah. So I haven't been able to substantiate that a whole lot, but it seems like things from the past that have kind of upset some people. Oh, he also, George Floyd was referred to in the media recently as a gentle giant, and that's the same shit they used to refer to, I can't remember his name, but oh my gosh, I can't remember his name or anything. It was a guy, black guy, last like 5 years or so, who the cops tried to pull over, and then there was like a scuffle, and he was running away, and the cop shot him anyway, and then the cop was found to be like clear of all charges. I can't remember his name. I'll have to come back to it. But we're seeing a lot of things being revisited, or we're seeing a lot of things being recycled. And it's cool because on Thursday we did a pod and we covered a lot of this shit that like Tripoli and Isaac Weishaupt were talking about. I was pretty proud of us. But one of the things we didn't talk about, and I didn't really know, or maybe we did, that he did porn. Did we talk about that one on Thursday?
We didn't talk about that, but I did see that, and I was just gonna kind of talk about there's been some weird connections. He has weird tattoos or symbols or something like that, and he was friends with like a famous basketball player, I want to say, something like that, who throws up the symbols like that and stuff. So
Oh,
yeah, I don't think we did touch on that. I think I saw it a little later.
yeah. So he at least was in one porno, which is weird. Like it could mean nothing. It could mean something. Who knows? It technically means he has a history of being an actor. If that means anything, like I'm not saying he did or did not die. I'm not saying it's not tragic. I'm not saying police don't fucking suck a lot of the time. I'm really not. I'm always yelling at fucking police, and no one ever backs me up. But that's fine. But he has a history with that, which I thought was weird. And in the video, you can kind of see it. It's kind of grainy. I watched a portion of it. It's actually really gross. But he has that double eagle,
Yeah.
which is the sign of Freemasonry, I believe, in the Scottish Rite, 33rd degree. But he has that tattooed on him. And I've even seen that double-headed eagle associated with the Order Ab Chao, the Order out of Chaos in Latin, used by Freemasonry, arguably being used against us right now, creating chaos so they can come in and create order for everybody.
Yeah. So let's get back to it. What do you think is the overall agenda? Do you think it's yeah, what do you think from a political stand, like Democrat, Republican, are they really going at it causing this to happen? Are they in on it together? Like what do you think that from like that aspect?
I think so. If we're pretending, if we're saying that the presidency is legitimate and Trump won that legitimately, and so if we're saying that, okay, cool, let's go with that train of thought. Liberals, the left, a lot of people don't want Trump in office anymore. That's why we've seen so much bullshit up until this point with him. They said like, oh, he's colluding with Russia, unfounded. Oh, we're gonna impeach him. Didn't fucking work. He's still dead. And then like, okay, fuck it, release the virus. You know what I mean? It really like a lot of stuff seems like an entity or entities are trying to make America and make Trump specifically look bad in order to get him out of office. And I think what was happening is it was backfiring because the liberal fucking mayors and shit were locking us all down. And then we did have nice peaceful protests that people didn't like because people were associating it with the MAGA movement, right? Even though looking back, those were fucking great protests. Everybody showed up, said their opinion. Nobody really got hurt. Few people got arrested. I'm sure they got out. But compared to now, it was much, much better. I think they kind of starting to backfire. And I think what they're trying to do now is have us forget about coronavirus and how much they lied to us, divide us further, always with race and class, right? And possibly keep us scared and locked up in our homes until November so they can do the vote by mail ballot. Is if I had to think of a long con, I think they're doing some shit like that. But what I don't know is if they're going to throw another 2 or 3 things on top of us. Are we going to see a second wave of corona that's even deadlier than the last? Are we going to see aliens try and make contact? Are we going to see another police killing or black people starting to kill white people and further draw the divide? I don't know. I do think they're going to throw a few more things at the wall to see what sticks. But ultimately, I feel like they're trying to get Trump out of office. Whether it's good or bad, and it's definitely at our expense, I think that's one of the Democrat, left-wing, liberal, whatever. I think that's part of their goal. And they participate in this division because Biden was just talking about black people not being black.
I know. So is that your like real feeling? Like you think that there is that true division going on?
I think that's what they want, and I actually am like semi optimistic about things because I do see people on all different sides pointing out the bricks being left there, pointing out this sketchy person or car, pointing out this shit, you know?
Yeah.
And again, the internet being used for purposes other than the world elite want. You know, we're using it to unite, and that may play into something I've been saying for a few months, where they turn off the internet for a while to get us all off the same page again. Because the more we unite, obviously, the bigger problem it is for them. What about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, man, it's really hard to know because there is all of that, like you just kind of laid out with, the Russiagate, the impeachment stuff, and now the coronavirus, and then the unemployment, the economic collapse, all of that kind of happening. And, you know, it seems like it was very all manipulated and planned from a certain aspect, um, at least from a left liberal way agenda. It seemed like they just kept going, like jabbing, trying to do anything they could. And I just it really does feel like there is a true you know not battle, because that's not the right term to use, but just this like confrontation between the two parties, and even within the parties themselves there's just this division. And I'm really conflicted because I can't stand the super left liberal agenda that has been seemed to be clearly laid out, but I don't like how the National Guard has been called in, military force has been called in, and we're on curfews and even more strict lockdowns now, and that seems to be coming more from Trump's doing. He keeps calling for more National Guard, more military and stuff, and it's like, I understand, because a lot of these lootings and riotings are going on in democratic cities, and these leaders aren't stepping up. So it's like, I'm really conflicted because I understand it from one side, but it's like, I hate that they're bringing in all that military and stuff. Like, that's not cool. And this does give them an opportunity now to, if they want to play the coronavirus card, that everybody's been out protesting, and give it a month, and now everybody is sick again, and we've seen a spike in numbers, and now we have to be even locked down more for that instead of the riots again. So it just seems like it could cause this perpetual cycle going on. And yeah, maybe it's just a plan to get it to November, and see what's going on with the election. But if people keep rioting and destroying their communities, I don't think people are gonna vote for anybody but Trump. Like, I don't understand why. I don't know who you would go for in that position. So it's really confusing.
Yeah, I agree. It sucks because when we were locked down just for Corona, Trump was like, "Hey, each state, like, kind of like do what you want, you know, like a little bit." And fucking Newsom, of course, is like oppression master. And then we had some nice, peaceful fucking MAGA protests that everybody hated.
Yeah.
Nobody got fucking hurt.
No, well, and the key thing there too, nobody was destroying businesses. Nobody was out hurting people, and they were carrying weapons. So just think about that, man. It's like, it has nothing to do with in my opinion, nothing to do with race when it comes to all the looting and rioting and stuff, because it's like, there were black people protesting out there too with their guns just the other, with the coronavirus stuff. So it's like, just don't destroy things, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I would say, if you're gonna destroy things, make sure you're destroying the right fucking things. Like,
Exactly.
Let's get the 5G towers out of here.
Yeah.
That's where it sucks because obviously, like you were saying, I don't like more military on the streets. I don't like National Guard here. I don't like seeing police pretending to be fucking military.
Yeah.
You know, come on, get out of here. It upsets me that we were talking about tanks getting moved all across the country a few months ago. Nobody cared. Everybody called us crazy. And oh look, there's fucking tanks guarding Staples Center now.
With
down
the
the
quickness.
Right. Exactly. Because they were all in place. They were all ready to go. Why? Because the shit's fucking planned out. Is Trump in on it? I don't know. Is he in on it a little? I don't know. A lot? Who knows? Like, I don't know. If he is 100% in on it, he's doing a good job of making it look like he is not, I think. With the exception of this whole Insurrection Act that he is utilizing now. But if I'm not mistaken, the Insurrection Act kind of says states take care of your shit first. You know, it kind of seems like he's trying to redelegate some of that federal presidential power to the states, which would be awesome. I think states should be a little bit more in control of their shit and not look to a federal government to take care of everything. But our leaders suck. So, and New York's leaders suck. And all the fucking liberal states have leaders that are just going to fall in line and not do shit until we all kill ourselves and each other. So if he steps in, then it's a consolidation of power. And then again, the federal government, the president, is making sure that there's tanks in every state keeping order. How is that not martial law with the curfews we currently have?
Exactly. And they're disrupting the peaceful protest before curfew even starts.
That's the other thing too, man. Like these police have got to start thinking for themselves. They really do. And that may not look like quitting. It may not look like calling in so they don't have to do it. But I've seen these dudes pushing old guys down to the ground. I've seen them macing people in the fucking face. You know, like, and people that aren't even, they're not resisting, they're not being a problem, they're not rioting, they're not looting. Like I said, the media, like holding up their media card, face down on the ground, like, hey, yeah. I'm just here documenting First Amendment. It's their job. It's his job to document all that. Boom, sprayed right in the face. Like, not abusive power, not okay. I've seen pictures of them having their cameras covered up. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man.
See, I've been trying to, like I said, the last day and a half or so, I haven't been paying as close attention to it. But what I have seen, I haven't seen a lot of that. I haven't seen a lot of police provoking the protesters. What I have seen is people start getting rowdy and throw stuff. And then that's what causes the agitation from the police. And it's just like, you may not see it on the news, or you may see a skewed version online or something, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't been there firsthand, but I have for like the first couple days, like 2 days straight. I couldn't sleep. I was just keeping my eye on it. And that was a lot of what I saw, was people throwing stuff and getting very kind of violent from the middle of the crowd and just throwing shit. And then that's when, you know, things start to happen, because, I mean, you know, cops we already know that they will use excessive force whenever they feel is necessary. And if they feel their life is in danger, they will use that force. So if these people are gonna be stupid and like throw shit and be violent to the cops, dude, you're only gonna provoke these people and cause more harm than like to yourselves. Like, you're lucky that they're only using the pepper bullets and the rubber bullets, because it sucks because they are in the middle of the peaceful protesters, you know what I mean? But I've seen a lot of agitators just kind of throwing stuff and being the one to kind of start it. And like I said, I haven't seen a lot from the opposite point of view where the cops are starting it. I'm sure it's there, I'm sure it's out there, but I just haven't seen a lot of it.
Yeah, and I agree, you shouldn't antagonize police, I guess. But also, if you're a policeman in full riot gear and somebody from fucking 30 feet away throws a water bottle at you, shut the fuck up. Like,
What about the bricks
what do you,
though?
what, and like, that brings me back to where do those fucking bricks come from? If the police are putting them there, like, sure, the person, if it's just a random protester, shouldn't be throwing it, but I would venture to guess that person was given the idea or paid to do so. And if the police are putting them fucking there, they're part of the fucking problem. Then that goes back to them being the provocateurs.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And I come from a different angle because in my line of work, I do behavior modification, and we have very, very tried and true ways to navigate behavior modification, to de-escalate a situation. Even the holds that we utilize are much, much better than what I've seen the fucking cops doing. And it pisses me off on a bunch of different levels, but one of them is that. Like, you can de-escalate a situation, but a lot of these, I think a lot of what happens with the cops is fucking fake machismo, because that culture is built on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, cops started as runaway slave patrol, so already, like, they're based in equity. You know what I mean? And okay, yeah, don't throw a fucking brick at a cop. Don't be stupid. But if someone's getting paid to fucking do it, and the cops know that it's gonna happen, and they're using it as a catalyst to push forward, not cool.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have to say that out loud. Not okay. I saw a video. I think it was in New York. I'm not sure where, but people are on their porch, and cops are like fucking walking down the street, yelling at everyone to get inside, and then they just light them up with, it looked like paintballs or something. I'm sure it hurts more than a paintball, but that's kind of what it looked like. But why aren't you allowed to be in your fucking porch?
Yeah.
What, like, come on. Like, yeah, don't provoke the police, but also police fucking, like, come on. Like, you're also American. You also live here. Like, why would we not? Why are you just going to light someone? And he says, light them up. Yeah, shoot the teenagers on the front porch. Why? What the fuck? Like, and if you don't think people are going to see that and be pissed and then want to throw a fucking brick or water bottle at you later, like, you're crazy. Now, I think it's okay, but both sides need to, like, check their fucking ego a little bit and try to move forward amicably on the same fucking page.
Yeah.
But that's asking too much. I know that's asking too much, because when in America have we ever been able to do that?
Yeah. Oh man, I had a thought and I lost it for a second. So you take over because I'm trying to figure it out.
I do go off on tangents.
No, it's all good.
There were a few others. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Clarissa had posted some police badges from across the states, and a lot of them have the square and compass in there. A lot of them have that Freemasonic logo and the police emblem. And that reminded me of the Fraternal Order of Police, which I don't think we've discussed, but it's retired cops that are Masons that indirectly influence what the police do. So there is like a direct correlation between the foot soldiers on the street and the Masons in the secret building down the road that you're not allowed into. Like, there is a direct link, there is a correlation, there is fucking, what is it called? Collusion. Do you know what I mean? So keeping that, the police started as runaway slave patrol. A lot of them are police / Freemasons. What does that mean for what's going on now? What is that? Are there correlations? Does it mean they're in charge? Is this just their turn to release a fucking catastrophe on the United States? What's all that about?
Yeah, that is interesting. I did kind of see that picture going around of all the police badges with the kind of Freemason logo in it, and yeah, I didn't realize that there was that big of a connection between it. That's pretty interesting. That's kind of concerning for sure.
And if you look into Freemasonry, they don't let the women know the knowledge they have. I don't think they give Black people all the knowledge they have. They train their kids at an early age to be Masons growing up, and they actually have it to where when the girls are entering like pre-teenhood, like young teens, the males that are like in their late teens, early 20s can go and take those classes with them. So they kind of raise them to go, like, to be around younger girls and they train these girls to be around guys that are 10 years older than them while teaching this secret freaking mysticism of Freemasonry that has a hold, in some places at least, on the police department. And if you look up the Fraternal Order of Police logo, it has an all-seeing eye right there. I mean, if you know what to look for, it's kind of all laid out.
Yeah.
Strange.
That is strange. Yeah, so I still can't catch what I was gonna say, and it's really bugging me. Oh, it's really bugging me.
I have I just have stuff from last week that we didn't get to. As far as the fucking riots go, I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I got like I'm sleeping with one eye open, kind of like I woke up at 3:30, weird, last night, just because I heard sirens, and I'm like, like I'm alert now. I'm listening for the dogs in the neighborhood barking. I'm listening for shit because, I mean, say there is some group that does some stuff, rolls into a neighborhood, whatever. They're only going to hit one neighborhood first. Like, once they hit one and everybody knows about it, then everyone can be prepared. But that first neighborhood might not have any fucking prior notice, warning. You know what I mean? Like, I went on a walk this morning just kind of, like, checking my neighbors, like, hey, like, yo, everyone good? Like, I almost want to ask people, like, you loaded? You ready? Like, I've seen a few videos of families, again, with, like, ARs standing, like, at the entrance to their neighborhood, like, guarding it. Like, no one's coming into here messing shit up, dude. And they were called racist or whatever, but if you're protecting your hood, you're protecting your hood and your family, and that's should be at the base of what we're all doing, is trying to protect ourselves and each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely... Man, all of this from coronavirus and the lockdown, and now this, I'm like, man, people need a weapon more than ever.
More than ever.
Yeah.
If you're in the San Diego area, or if you're in North County area, go to Gunther's Guns. I'm not cutting a promo for them or anything, but I've been there, and they are knowledgeable, helpful, professional, and I got no complaints from visiting them. The first step is just taking a little, like a 35 question test. Oh, no, it's $35. I think there's like 20 questions on it. That's the first step.
Yeah.
It's an easy first step. And, you don't have to study, but they have like practice tests on their website and shit too. So
gotcha.
Everyone needs to go take that first step and just get something in there. Get something in your household, man.
And I've seen that they've been targeted like 7-8 times since they've opened up, like their cars being like smashed or destroyed or whatever. I mean, usually I think it's just a window where they're able to just replace it or whatever, but dude, that's awful. Like, that's crazy. But it's funny because we got about like 12 minutes left, but the owners of that store, when I used to work at the sandwich shop just right down the street here, they would come in almost on a daily basis, and it was right when they were still in the midst of trying to get permits to open up and dealing with the neighbors in the business park or wherever they are. I don't know exactly where they're located, but they had to like get approval from everybody, all the neighbors, and they were struggling with that. And then they finally did open, and then I left that job, so I wasn't able to really ever keep up with them. And then next thing you know, you're talking about you going there. I was like, hey, I remember those people, so that is pretty funny.
That's cool. It's nice to support a local business and practice your American freedoms. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's really eye-opening, and I think a lot of people who were on the no guns, why would you need a gun? I think especially the last few days really showed people this is why you need a gun, because one, the police won't really help you. They can turn against you, and people will turn against you too, and you really do need to protect yourself and your property. And it seems like the ones who have kind of armed themselves and really shown out like that have really took a stand against their the one, like, nothing's really happening, or they turn away really quick. So it is eye-opening, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it of course makes me think about everyone trying to take the guns away. Like, oh my god, I can't remember who it was, but one of the politicians was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go take your guns from you." You
Yeah,
know, and everyone's like, "Yeah, take their guns away." And
yeah,
then there's fucking hundreds of people thrashing everyone, killing shop owners, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to these people, like, "Hey, what the fuck now? Like, what does your opinion change, or are you still brainwashed by everything?"
mm-hmm.
You know, and not to get like this is completely different, but I'm kind of tired of seeing people. No, it's on the same subject. I'm tired of seeing people post something about not being racist, but talking about white people. Like, hey,
Yeah,
white people, get your checks. Don't be racist. Okay, you're perpetuating racism by saying that. Like, instead of saying white people, just say racists. Like, if you really want to target racist, just say, hey, racist. Don't be so racist. Because when
yeah,
you say fucking, hey, white people, don't be racist, you're being kind of a fucking asshole. And you're making your
exactly.
comment look bad, and you're being racist. You know what I mean? I've discovered people don't like that.
And
I
then
started reposting.
and then
Okay.
it's like someone uh people always say, "Oh, other races can't be racist because they don't know what it's like to be systematically oppressed." And it's like that has nothing to do with what racism is when you actually look at the true definition of it. It's not like a systematic thing. It's just a like a prejudice of like based on what race, gender, or there's like something else as well, but it's not anything to do. It's just yeah, it's just frustrating.
It is. It's frustrating. And people post these fucking quotes and they'll say, like, whatever, whatever. And if that offends you, check your racism or check
Yeah,
your privilege.
yeah,
And I'm like, good lord, dude, you can't just like post something and that's the end all be all. And if someone disagrees with you, they're a racist. Like,
exactly.
good lord, are we really just gonna run to that for everything without having a conversation? Like, I have this news app and it popped up with a article and someone was saying like, hey, like, well, the article was the teaser or whatever was like changing your profile pic to a black square like isn't helping. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, let's see what this guy's saying, right? I went to go read it and it's been removed. And people are like, good, it should be removed. Finally. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm an adult. I should be able to read something and judge for myself if I agree or disagree. I don't need other people complaining because they don't like it. And then I can't even have my own opinion about something off of somebody else's free speech because it offends somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what's really kind of been confusing to me is like, you know, Trump did that tweet a few days ago or whatever saying these thugs, uh, alluding to the looters and rioters and stuff. And immediately like the media put race into it, but it's like I agree with people looting and rioting. They're like thug like, you know what I mean? And that has nothing to do with race. There's a bunch of white people doing it, taking advantage of it too, and it's like I would still call them thugs too. So it's like
Yeah.
just really interesting how the media immediately put a race thing on it, and then you have all of these left liberal celebrities and big time like influencers and lawmakers coming out and stating that they will take care of any protesters who go to jail, and you know, all of that. And it's like, but then the next morning they will say that a lot of these protesters and rioters, or the looters and rioters, sorry, were white supremacists. So are these celebrities bailing out white supremacists, or are they bailing? You know what I mean? It's just it's so stupid to me. It's like they can't even keep their stories straight, and it just like they just fumble over each other. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, and somebody will find one quote that supports their bias and then post it and project that they're right about everything.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. Did you see? That's a little bit lighter, but it's actually pretty fucked up. Deborah Messing, she's an actress from Will and Grace. She had posted a picture of Trump holding that Bible next to a picture of Hitler holding a Bible the same way, and she was, she said like basically it was like a call out to Nazis or whatever, something like that. Come to find out that Hitler picture was Photoshop. So she's out there she's out there spreading fake news. Yeah. And I posted, I was like, dude, I post stuff that's real, and I get these like false info covers on my post. She's out there posting stuff that's been proven to be wrong and inaccurate, and it's okay. What? Where's the equity there? Yeah. Why isn't anyone calling her on her shit? But people did. They started making fun of what she was saying, and that was kind of cool. But yeah, celebrities spreading disinformation, man. Is that ever going to change? Is it ever going to stop?
No. And we got about a little under 5 minutes left. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people, especially white people, come out and just kind of sound like they're reading a script, like they were given, and really trying to push a narrative and an agenda. And yeah, it's just, I've seen, it's funny because Disaster kind of called out Ice Cube like I was calling out Ice Cube, because he was like, man, it's sad what some of our idols have come to, like race baiting and things like that, spreading false information. And it's like, I'm glad that someone on his level kind of pointed it out as well, because it's like, I'm not anybody right now or anything like that. I was just a fan of Ice Cube, and it's just, I find it really frustrating that, he is kind of spreading this false information, and still the post is up with the picture. Dude, and it's like, he's being called out, and it's still not gonna take it down or anything, and it's like, how, that's so frustrating. There is that little thing saying it's like, the image is two different people or whatever. Speaking of the image being two different people, man, the cop is not the same.
Nope.
What is that? And how are people not, some people are noticing it. I've seen some people talk about it, but why aren't people like rioting or protesting about that? Be like, show us that's not the right guy.
I agree. I looked at side by sides, and it doesn't look like the same person at all. The hairline's different. The ears look like detached. Like it looked. The dude that was in the arrest photo looks younger, for sure.
Yeah.
And not even like the same fucking person. And I don't. Other than the fucking black magic that runs our world, I don't understand how people don't see it.
I don't understand it either.
Like, oh, that's weird. Some people are like, if you're like, okay, I kind of see that, they look a little different. Okay, cool. But if you're like, no, it's the same person. What? Dude. Yeah. Like, take a look, man. Take a second look. Take a third look.
Yeah.
There's no way there's inconsistencies. And again, my kind of meter for shit is when there's too many inconsistencies, too many coincidences, there's smoke. Smoke, there's fire. It's bullshit. I think that video was planned. I think it was staged, and I think it was used to incite all this shit going on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look to the Illuminati card game, man. It's all there.
Yeah, that's funny. I've seen that thing. What is that? We have a minute and a half. We'll get into that another time. I've seen those posts so many times. I don't know what that game is, but yeah, man. This kind of flew by. I think it was good. I think it's good to kind of be able to talk about this stuff and use our voice, because we kind of, we have similar views, and this is kind of all we can do, and shine light on the inconsistencies and things like that, and also, stick up for the causes in the right way. So yeah, make sure to like, share, subscribe when this goes up on YouTube. And yeah, you can take it out. We got 30 seconds left.
I think I'm trying to stay centered around like, united we stand. We need to come together. We need to be on the same page to fight the people controlling us, not our neighbors. Stay united against the oppressor. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, we have to just be united be peaceful, and just come together because we have the power, that's for sure. So again, make sure to like, share, subscribe at the Real Word 420. Till next time, peace.